Hello, guys. This is Martin from eslquebec.ca for another lesson, this time on the demonstrative adjectives. So let's look at the four words here that we see on the board or on the screen. We see this, that, these, and those. These four words are called demonstrative adjectives, and their functions is basically to send information or convey information to the person you're speaking concerning your position and an object or a person. So we use this when, for example, if you are close or if you are near an object, a singular object or a person, you will say this. If you are not next to the person, if you are a few feet away, maybe 10 feet away, 15 feet away, if you are not next to that person or that object, you will say that. Now, we use these and those if we are talking about people, two, three, four people, or objects. So these are plural adjectives. So again, okay, if you're standing next to two people or two objects, two things, you will say these. If you are far away, if you are a few feet away, maybe 10 feet more than that, then you would say those. Let's look at some examples. This is Sam. So when you say this is Sam, Sam is next to you. You're talking about Sam and Sam is next to you. If you say this is my cousin Mary, your cousin Mary is next to you. If you say this is not mine, you're talking about an object. You can almost touch it. You can touch it. And you say you're just sending the information that this object is not your property. It does not belong to you. This isn't his. This isn't his. Again, maybe an object. You can touch it. Okay. And you're just sending the information that this object does not belong to a boy, to a person here, to a man. Now you can also make some questions, and when you want to make questions, you simply reverse the order of the demonstrative adjective and the verb. So you start with the verb. Is this? Is this? Is this seat taken? You would use this sentence if you were next to the seat or the chair. You want to sit down, you are next to that seat or that chair, and you are asking the person, is this seat taken? Let's look at other singular examples. Now, this time a few feet away. That is Mr. Thompson. Well, Mr. Thompson is not next to you. Mr. Thompson is maybe a few feet away from you. That's Mr. Thompson. Mr. Thompson could be, for example, the teacher, and he could be in the front of the classroom, and you are in the back of the room. And so there's a distance between the two of you. So you say, that's Mr. Thompson. That's his wife. That's his wife. That's is the contraction of that is. That's his wife. A wife. So Mr. Thompson is probably married and he has a wife, and that's his wife. So, okay, that's Mr. Thompson's wife. Mr., when you see the letters MR plus a period, you pronounce it Mr. Mr. If you see MRS plus a period, you pronounce it Mrs. Mrs. So that's Mr. and Mrs. That is Mr. Thompson. That's his wife. That is not my car. So the car is not next to you. You are standing a few feet away from the car. That isn't our cat. That isn't our cat. Here, we simply have a contraction of the verb to be and the negative word not, isn't. That isn't our cat. A question, you simply reverse again the order. You start with the verb is, and you put the demonstrative adjective that. Is that? Is that yours? Is that yours? Okay. Let's go with, let's see some examples, some plural examples. These are the Jones. These are the Jones. So when you are saying something like this, you are giving the information that the Jones are next to you. These are my cousins. These are my cousins. Again, your cousins are next to you. They're not far away from you, they're close to you. These are not mine. These are not mine. So we're talking about objects, and you want to show that these objects are not your property. They don't belong to you. Here, notice that even if I'm talking about objects in the plural, the word mine is not going to vary. It's not going to change. It's not going to become plural. No, it's going to always stay mine. If it's one or two or three or five objects or people, it's going to always stay mine. These aren't his. These aren't his. Again, you want to show the property. So you're saying that a couple of things, a couple of objects are not his property. A question, you reverse the order. You start with the verb in the plural because we're talking about seats in the plural. Are these seats taken? So this indicates that you are next to the seats. Are these seats taken? Just the word these indicates that you are next to the seats. Now, if you are a few feet away, okay, so you would use those. Those are Mr. and Mrs. Lee. Those are Mr. and Mrs. Lee. Those are his parents. Those are his parents. Those are not my pants. Those are not my pants. The word pants is plural, so I need to use those, okay, because they're not close to you. Those aren't our bags. Bags is plural, so I'm using those. Those aren't our bags. Here I have a contraction of the verb to be, are in the plural form, and not, aren't. Those aren't our bags. And a question, are those your shoes? Are those your shoes? Are those your shoes? So again, the shoes are not next to you; they're maybe a few feet away, and you're asking if you're asking a person if the shoes belong to that person. This is the end of this video clip.